One possible reason for Batman's popularity through the years is that while the story of Batman has been told many different ways in the comics and movies and television, the central idea of the character has always been about someone who has been transformed by profound pain and loss. Perhaps we like Batman because he reminds us that while our traumas leave us forever changed in some ways, always grieving lost parts of ourselves, they need not define us or indefinitely rob us of our personal agency. Perhaps Batman reminds us of our capacity to make choices about how we will respond to our wounds.
Damage catastrophic. Eject sequence initiated.
His losses are not an endpoint. Failures and falling down are metabolized, creating energy, driving innovation, from which he becomes something else. Fundamentally changed for sure, but moving forward nonetheless. Although maybe we can't all relate to the decision to don pointy ears and a cape. I mean, at least not all of us. Some of us may have had a pair of Batman underoos as a kid.
Underoos!
Anyway, even if we can't all relate to his wardrobe choices, we can all relate to falling down. We all experience things that are intensely painful and frightening, things that overwhelm us. And we can also relate to how specific experiences influence us after the fact. Reminders of those scary, painful things may trigger or bring back intense feelings, fears, negative thoughts about ourselves, and cause us to want to avoid anything that reminds us of our wounds.
Come on, go.
In Batman's story, we watch Bruce, guided by the help and support of those who love him, make specific choices to process his pain.
It's okay. It's okay. You'll be okay.
Took quite a fall, didn't we, Master Bruce?
And why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
He learns new skills, he gains new abilities. And as we watch Bruce Wayne become the Batman, we are reminded that when things go wrong in our lives, it does not mean we are done. And while I acknowledge that there are some times when we need to remove ourselves entirely from certain people, places, and situations, if we only go where we are comfortable in life, we will always be on the run. And that's not a way to live. In this way, this scene here, where Bruce finds himself facing something terrible from his childhood, invites an interesting exploration of what it means to heal. It's an interesting thing to allow ourselves to come back to distressing memories with new skills, new resources that allow us to turn toward our pain with compassion and mindfulness, to work with it, sit with it, gather insight from it, rather than deny, avoid, resist, or fight it. A thought question I come back to a lot is, as I think about how I currently respond in a particular situation, how would I like to be able to respond if I could? Or in my mind's eye, what might be a healthier, more helpful response to this? So rather than always removing ourselves from things that are unsettling or expecting our environment to change, we learn to respond in healthier, more helpful ways to what is around us. Healing and growth is not about perpetual avoidance. The goal of healing is to process and metabolize our pain in such a way that we literally change how we feel, how we respond in certain situations, to be able to reinstall a sense of personal power and capability, to make choices we want to make from here on out and be who we want to be, despite the presence of things that previously felt unbearable to us. I'm intrigued by research that explores the idea of post-traumatic growth, that some of us experience profound positive psychological changes after experiencing a life crisis or traumatic event. Now, please don't misunderstand me here. I'm not trying to glorify trauma as some kind of wonderful life lesson we've somehow been blessed with. That's not what I'm saying. Considering research around post-traumatic growth is not intended to deny one's lived experience of deep distress in life or to suggest we should be happy about what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Rather, this is just an acknowledgement of the strange reality that some of us, some of the time, surprisingly will experience significant positive changes in ourselves as an unintentional result of our adversity. And I think this is partly why we like Batman, because we watch him process his pain. He's a survivor. We watch him metabolize his experiences and memories. He's a reminder that when we do experience loss or grief or trauma, that we aren't done moving forward. We have choices. We're not done learning and growing and developing or experiencing happiness. And how our bodies and brains currently respond to traumatic pain is not a life sentence. We will continue on and we will persevere.
What have I done, Alfred? Everything my family, my father built.
The Wayne legacy is more than bricks and mortars.
I wanted to save Gotham. I failed.
Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
You still haven't given up on me.
Never. What is that?
And that's also why I love how in this particular scene from the Christopher Nolan movie, the bats, the same thing that initially terrified Bruce, have not only learned to be tolerated, but are now helping him. To me, this scene illustrates how his relationship with his fears have changed. Time has passed. Former enemies are now allies. Former fears are now literally behind him. He has a new relationship with his pain and losses and has made them work for him, approaching challenges now from a place of power. It reminds me of philosopher Rumi's words, "The wound is the place where the light enters you."
What would you have me do?
Endure, Master Wayne.
One practical start to changing the way we react to a current trauma trigger is to get clear about what exactly is coming up for us in the presence of that person, place, or situation. I'll put a link to a format that many find helpful when doing trauma recovery work in the notes of this video. Once we're clear with what is coming up, we can also get clearer about mapping out a template for how we would like to respond in the future. Something I explore a little more in this Harry Potter inspired video. If you're new to the Play Therapy series, feel free to look around, explore some topics where on-screen examples mix with practical mental health skills, ideas, and principles. Thanks for watching.